This week, child porn. It's an unthinkable crime against the most innocent of victims, yet it's a booming business online.
This was the largest internet child pornography bust in this country to date, sadly.
A husband and wife team making millions from online child porn are brought to justice in Operation Landslide. Our special report takes you inside the investigation.
Is the Al-Qaeda terrorist network secretly passing messages by embedding them in pictures on the net? CyberCrime investigates whether Steganography is in fact a terrorist tool.
Hi, welcome to CyberCrime.
How were the 9/11 attacks coordinated? We investigate one theory later in the show.
But right now, our top story, a massive manhunt for the mastermind behind an enormous online child porn ring. In April 1999, an undercover detective in Texas received a phone call about a troubling website, and when investigators followed up on the lead, they were shocked. Never before had they seen such graphic content displayed in such a commercial way.
These were children. These were kids under 10. There were babies in this deal.
Former Assistant U.S. Attorney in Fort Worth, Texas, Terry Moore, has seen almost every type of case there is, from manslaughter to murder. But this did little to prepare her for the case that landed on her desk last year.
I thought I was pretty much a tough old prosecutor for 14 years that had seen everything there was to see. And then you see something like this, and it's just, wow. There were websites with names like Children Forced to Porn, Child Rape, Effing Little Kids, okay, XXX Preteen. I mean, all of these names suggest children.
What Moore and federal investigators had on their hands would turn out to be the largest internet child porn operation to date in this country. At the center of it all, husband and wife team Thomas and Janice Reedy, operators of LandslideProductions.com.
Landslide Productions was basically a credit card verification service for webmasters all over the world.
Bob Adams is with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. He says surfers interested in smut would first log on to Landslide's webpage to have their credit card verified. From there, they had two choices: AVS, Adult Verification Service, which provided membership access to thousands of adult porn sites for $29.95 a month. The other choice was Keys, K-E-Y-Z.
Keys, on the other hand, was site-specific, and the vast majority, if not all, of the sites that we saw, well, actually, with the exception of one site, was child pornography. And for $29.95, you got access to only one site.
Child Exploitation, Detective Nelson.
The investigation into Landslide began in April 1999 with a phone call to undercover Detective Steve Nelson with the Dallas Police Department. Bob Adams wanted Detective Nelson to check out a site that was raising some legal eyebrows.
I pulled the site up, and the site was so graphic that as I'm sitting on the phone talking to Bob Adams, I'm saying, "Bob, you're not going to believe this." He said, "Oh, what is it?" He said, "This is the worst I've seen commercially."
And yet Detective Nelson hadn't seen the worst of it. The ensuing 2-year undercover investigation would reveal hundreds upon hundreds of child porn sites, operated by webmasters all over the world, accessible through Landslide.
You have to always go to Landslide, type in your name and password that you were given, and Landslide would give you the link to go to that site. So you had to buy from them, and you had to go through them to get to the child porn website.
The Reedys would share subscription profits with the webmasters, keeping 1/3 for themselves. And according to investigators, the couple took in roughly $1.4 million in 1 month alone. Plenty of money to finance a lavish lifestyle, expensive cars, and a large home in an exclusive bedroom community outside of Fort Worth. Money made, according to investigators, off the backs of children.
There's pictures of kids that were crying so hard that their eyes were swollen and red. actually being raped on this stuff.
While adult porn may be considered by some to be the seedy underbelly of society, in most cases it's not illegal unless a court determines the content is obscene. Child porn, on the other hand, has a different measuring stick. It is illegal in any way, shape, or form, and freedom of speech does not protect those that create, distribute, or possess child porn. And yet Landslide was in business for years before investigators got wind of the key side of the operation. And what's more, Landslide did little to hide its connection to child porn. In fact, it was just the opposite.
The homepage of Landslide for a period of time had a banner that said child porn, click here. And you clicked on that banner, it took you to a child pornography website. If you wanted to join that website, you were routed back to Landslide. It was just so commercial, it was a feeling like, how dare you be this commercial? How blatant can you be with this?
Operation Landslide continues when CyberCrime returns. We'll take a closer look at the government's case against Thomas and Janice Reedy. Did the couple know their website linked to child porn?
The Reedys knew there was child porn. Did they create them? I don't know. Did they conspire to let people around the globe for money see them? You bet.
Tonight on the Screensavers.
Coming up on the next Screensaver.
I'm back again. Pat and Leo are still on their secret mission, so I'm taking over.
No, I'm taking over, and we'll be talking about security.
That's right, Martin. Non-Mulchandani of Oblix talks about why companies are focusing so much on security.
We got Mulchandani and Mark Thompson of Analog X will show you how to monitor incoming and outgoing traffic to the internet.
All that on the next
Screensaver.
The Screensavers. Tonight at 7, 6 Central, only on Tech TV's Tech Prime.
This program brought to you in part by PlayStation 2.
You think you have it rough? Ever try fighting a dozen lurkers at once? Those guys make purse snatchers seem like Boy Scouts. You fight any 300-foot robots today? Uh-huh. Didn't think so.
It looks like your partner's doing all the work.
Maybe it looks that way to the untrained eye. Huh? Hey, big guy! Been there long?
A new legacy is born, ready for everyone.
Your 401k. Time was, you never had to think about it. So when you changed jobs, you just assumed it was safe. Not so anymore. Roll over your 401k retirement savings to Morgan Stanley, and a financial advisor will guide you through a unique review process to help ensure that when you need your nest egg, it will still be there.
The compact Presario 5000 TPC has something for everyone. For film buffs, a free DVD drive, or for music buffs, a free CDRW drive. For technology buffs, an Intel Pentium 4 processor with power to burn, and burn and burn. Yep, it's a buff PC all right, and it's just $7.99 after a $50 instant rebate. So, financial buffs, call 1-800-336-1416 to buy now, and get a free DVD or CDRW drive.
Honey, you're going to be late for your interview.
I'm ready. Hair Club has been helping millions of people get educated on hair loss and what options actually work.
Hi, I'm here for the interview.
Oh, why don't you have a seat over there with the other applicants?
Hey, what are you looking at?
It'll only be a minute.
When you absolutely need to make a good impression, call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB for the answers to thinning hair.
Wednesdays on Tech TV, Fresh Gear and host Sumi Das give you the scoop on the best and brightest technology out there. From cell phones to future cars, find out what's new, what works, what's hot, and what's not. Watch Fresh Gear Wednesday night at 8:30 on Tech TV, television about technology. Tech TV, television about technology.
Welcome back. The undercover investigation into Landslide Productions began in 1999, and in the 2 years that followed, federal investigators found themselves traveling deep into the disturbing world of online child porn. And at the center of a huge, well-orchestrated online operation, husband and wife team Thomas and Janice Reedy, allegedly making millions off the backs of children. Now back to our story.
Every time the cases mentioned, I can picture one image, you know, that just automatically pops in my mind, and I'd like to get rid of that image someday. It's real troubling.
The evidence collected during Operation Landslide continues to haunt former prosecutor Terry Moore.
It's the kind of thing that you almost feel like you have to have, you probably ought to get some counseling, you know, when it's over. But yet you know, you got a job to do, so you try to look at the image long enough to satisfy yourself that it is child pornography, that it meets the legal definition, and then you just don't focus on that anymore. You focus on the other things that you need to prove the case.
And investigators collected plenty of other evidence to focus on. When authorities raided the Landslide offices in Fort Worth, Texas, and the Reedy's home, they found the smoking gun.
We found business records that he downloaded at home where he worked, and on the desktop we found 70+ images of child pornography.
Nestled among those business records, U.S. Postal Inspector Michael Mead says investigators uncovered emails like this one, sent by Landslide's bookkeeper, Janice Reedy.
Janice was responsible for the money going to the webmasters, being distributed either through check or wire transfer.
This email reads, I sent out part of your wire today, total of $98,441.78. Here she breaks down how much money each website generated for that month. Child rape, more than $17,000. Child God, more than $22,000. And for child, more than $23,600.
The Reedys knew there was child porn. Did they create them? I don't know. Did they conspire to let people around the globe for money see them? You bet.
In April 2000, Thomas and Janice Reedy were arrested and charged with possession of child porn and conspiracy to distribute child porn. Both denied the charges, rejected a settlement offer, and found themselves in federal court. During the trial, the defense tried to downplay the Reedys' involvement, arguing they weren't the webmasters and did not create the content. Thomas Reedy never took the stand, but he told investigators he was actually protecting children, claiming Landslide was an adult verification service that kept children from accessing adult porn sites. The defense drew this analogy. The webmasters were like movie producers, responsible for the content. And Thomas Reedy, well, he simply worked at the theater taking tickets.
He was not the ticket taker at a movie. He was a madam of a whorehouse. And that's really what he was. You know, when the guys want to get in to see the girls, well, they're not going to do it unless they go through the madam first and they pay up, okay? And that's really more analogous to what the Reedys were.
I believe that the government went too far in this instance.
Wes Ball was Thomas Reedy's defense attorney at trial. He argues it wasn't Reedy's job to police the internet for illegal content, and Reedy was, in some ways, a victim of internet automation.
If he cut a webmaster off, that webmaster could simply change their website name, reapply, re-sign up. The webmasters that were signed up with his service, it was all automated, and do the same thing under a different name. So he could chase that rabbit down the trail forever and never put a stop to it.
What about the child porn banner?
Those banners would rotate, and he simply was not responsible for that banner being there because it changed all the time and it was the product of someone else. So he didn't have child pornography on any of his web pages or anything that he had any responsibility to put up on the internet.
This particular banner image is from the server. It was actually hard-coded on the Thomas Reedy's server.
Was Thomas Reedy really a wolf in sheep's clothing? Or, as attorney Wes Ball contends, did the government go too far? A jury would ultimately decide, and after less than 7 hours of deliberation, the verdict was in.
They convicted Thomas Reedy of all counts. The jury convicted Janice Reedy of all counts except for one.
Under the federal sentencing guidelines, the penalties proved unforgiving. In August 2001, 32-year-old Janice Reedy was sentenced to 14 years, and 37-year-old Thomas Reedy is ordered to spend 1,335 years or the rest of his life in prison.
I do think the outcome was overwhelmingly too harsh for the conduct that Mr. Reedy engaged in.
He's aiding in the molestation of a child. If some pedophile looks at that image and gets turned on and goes and molests a child, Thomas Reedy is responsible for that, just as the person doing the act is. So does my heart break that he got 1,335 years? Not 1 second does it break.
In putting this story together, CyberCrime made numerous attempts to interview Thomas Reedy on camera. Both he and his current attorney agreed, but at the last minute, the warden at Beaumont Federal Prison in Texas refused to allow us inside, citing concerns over Reedy's safety. I was, however, able to speak with Thomas Reedy's father, Forrest, who says Thomas is appealing his life sentence and said, quote, "Thomas knows he's right. All he had was an age verification service." Unsettling to many, the Reedys have a 9-year-old daughter who is now living with Janice's family. Meantime, the government is going after individual subscribers to the child porn sites accessible through Landslide. Upwards of 35,000 individual usernames in the U.S. were obtained from the Reedy's computer database. So far, Operation Avalanche has netted more than 100 arrests. After the break, encrypting an email is one thing, but are terrorists using the power of steganography to hide the very fact that the message exists at all?
The danger continues to increase because the ability to hide more and more information in this larger and ever-growing haystack continues to increase.
Rugged, tough. The Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse. Its protective exterior can withstand almost anything thrown at it. And so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners.
I use my truck to make a living hauling gravel and scrap metal, but I still want it to look great when the day's over.
If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. With over 600 dealers around the globe, Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane that won't crack, peel, or warp. And like the Rhino's tough eyes, Tough Stuff's durable surface can take almost anything you can throw at it. Its unique non-skid surface was made for hauling. But unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently, keeping your truck bed looking almost new.
My father's first truck cost $1,600. This one cost $30,000. That's why I depend on a Rhino Lining to keep my truck bed looking new.
A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. But unlike the Rhino, it's available in many colors, not just gray. A Rhino Lining can even be custom color matched to your truck. So if you really want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner, the incredible spray-on bed liner warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. Keep your truck's bed looking almost as new as the day you brought it home. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
Welcome back. What we know is the Al-Qaeda network and its cells span the globe. What is unclear is how they coordinated such a sophisticated attack and continue to secretly communicate with one another. This enemy that's been hiding themselves in caves may also be hiding their future plans right in plain sight. Al-Qaeda is suspected of using steganography to communicate, what might be called the internet equivalent of invisible ink. Bush officials speculate there's more to this message than what meets the eye. Hidden in Osama bin Laden's televised broadcasts may be coded calls to action to terrorist cells worldwide. In France, it's an Arabic language code book found in the possession of Kamel Daoudi that is at the center of what is believed to be a plan to bomb the American embassy in Paris. Unlock the code book and you unlock the plan, says Alexis Debat, a former high-level official in the French Defense Ministry. Debat is long familiar with bin Laden's use of secret messages.
There had been
information coming out of Afghanistan and Pakistan from agents that had been infiltrated in these terrorist camps, that bin Laden and his associates were using steganography and cryptography to communicate with their networks in the world. They didn't really have any operational examples, and I think this is pretty much the first one.
Why, possibly, would the bin Laden organization use something more than standard encryption? We asked Professor Deborah Hurley, the director of the Harvard Information Infrastructure Project, to explain the added power of steganography.
So where with cryptography, you can encrypt a communication so that somebody doesn't know what the content of the communication is, but you can still see that there's a communication there, whether it's bits flowing over a network or a letter, but you can't understand what it means. You can see that there is a communication. One of the fascinating additional elements of steganography is that you don't even know it's there.
We decided to see for ourselves how easy it was using commercially free trial software to hide a message. For example, this cybercrime image would be considered the vessel. It would hold the secret or embedded message. Steganography tools can then be used to reveal what's hidden behind. In this case, it's me. I'm revealed as the embedded message. And the embedded message can be an image like the cybercrime logo. It can even be video. But the key is hiding the fact the embedded message exists. So with a lot of work, we managed to squeeze this video into this high-resolution cybercrime image. Then we emailed the entire file across the country to Chet Hosmer, a steganography expert and president of Whetstone Technologies. He got the image, and with the right decrypting software and password, I also arrived safely at the other end bearing my encoded message. Chet Hosmer is concerned about terrorists using the technology. His New York company develops and markets a sophisticated commercial steganography detection program.
And the scenarios start to play out where the internet and steganography used together, potentially, if done well, could be a very effective method to communicate without exposing who is communicating, and then certainly not exposing what they were communicating about.
Whetstone created a demonstration. Compare these two images. Can you tell which copy of the Mona Lisa contains a hidden message? Christopher Hyde, an associate computer scientist at Whetstone, is using the company's StegoWatch software to analyze the two Mona Lisas. Nothing is detected in the unembedded image, but when the program examines the file with the hidden picture,
It did detect steganography in that file.
the software also generates a detailed text and photographic analysis of the file. It can then be used to extract the embedded image from the Mona Lisa. In this case, it discloses the example image inserted by Whetstone, a Boeing 767 floor plan.
The danger continues to increase because the ability to hide more and more information in this larger and ever-growing haystack continues to increase.
Are terrorists actually employing steganography? Researchers test this theory by scanning millions of images sitting on the internet. The results after the break.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the same guy that designed this designed our network.
Can't be.
Why?
Because that hasn't crashed for like 700 years.
You can't log on either?
Infrastructure. It's what e-business is built on. Make sure yours has a solid foundation. Click IBM for your free guide, because sooner or later, it matters.
It's time you expected more from an insurance company. So call Progressive Auto Insurance, and we can give you our low price, plus the rates for up to 3 leading competitors. And that could save you hundreds.
We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
It's time you expected an easier way to buy car insurance. Because at Progressive.com, you can get a quote and buy a policy instantly. In fact, our website is so fast and easy to use, it's been rated #1 4 times in a row. It's time you expected faster claim service. At Progressive, our immediate response vehicles can come right to you. They're like a claims office on wheels.
We make getting back on the road fast and easy.
Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today for fast, friendly service 24 hours a day. We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
Okay, maybe we're not changing the world, but we are changing the way people buy car insurance.
You could start saving now. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or visit Progressive.com. Progressive, not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
Want to get the most from your DirecTV experience? Now, you can pay your monthly bill, change your programming package, order pay-per-view movies and events at DirecTV.com. Enjoy an exciting array of features that will enhance your DirecTV experience. DirecTV.com. More choice, better service, ultimate customer care.
Four friends, so tight they thought nothing could come between them.
We're getting married.
Pow! They were wrong.
We're single professional men. We're the cream of the crop.
Are you high or something?
No, man.
I'm La Muzinda.
Lamu what?
La Muzinda.
Ah.
Means goddess of light.
Cool, do your thing. I don't want to brag, but let's just say a young brother's getting all he can stand these days. What?
The brothers.
Stay tuned with Cinemax, the best and most movies on pay TV.
Welcome back. Are members of the Al-Qaeda terrorist network trying to hide their plans? Definitely. Are they using steganography to bury these plans underneath innocuous pictures and then posting the images on public websites? Well, as we learned in part one, former French defense official Alexis Debat and Whetstone Technology CEO Chet Hosmer are concerned. There is, however, a very different school of thought. At the University of Michigan Center for Information Technology Integration, doctoral candidate Niels Provost has spent the last 2 years studying possible uses of steganography. That research took a turn just a few months before 9/11.
There was an article in the newspapers that said that evil entities might be using steganography.
That Wired article went on to say steganography had been found in images placed on eBay. Provost, along with the center's scientific director, Dr. Peter Honeyman, set their sights on the eBay auction site.
This gave us an opportunity then to test our ideas. If there is steganography out there, and the techniques that are being used are the ones that we're searching for, then we ought to be able to find it.
They developed their own detection program. StegDetect was capable of performing large-scale evaluations of images.
I think we downloaded about 2 million images from eBay auctions. We were not able to find any hidden messages in there.
I've not seen any hard data that would indicate that terrorists have been using steganographic images.
Neil Pollard, the founding director of the Terrorism Research Center based in Virginia, is also a skeptic. Pollard refutes recent theories that Al-Qaeda is hiding terrorist plans in unlikely places like online porn sites.
It seems to me that if you put a steganographically embedded secret message on a porn site, you're drawing about as much attention to it as you possibly can.
The FBI has been saying repeatedly that they're finding no evidence of steganography or any sort of cryptography whatsoever.
The fact is, no expert we surveyed could either point to an example or dispel the possibility terrorists are using Steg, especially in light of its accessibility and ease of use.
The bad thing about going high-tech when you're a terrorist is that the higher you go, the more visible you're going to be. So I think the future of terrorism is very low-tech and unfortunately very deadly.
There's a growing market for steganography tools given the wide range of legitimate uses. For example, digital watermarks are a form of steganography. Companies use digital watermarks to prevent and track piracy by inserting them into copyrighted pictures and music. If you'd like to find out how difficult or easy it is to use steganography, visit our website. The address is cybercrime.com.
Well, we are just about out of time, but next week...
This was a very professional job. It was well done.
Patient data is exposed in a hack attack at the University of Washington Medical Center. How safe are your medical records, and what are hospitals doing to protect patients?
Also, a well-known high-tech company gets a series of email death threats.
In most circumstances, it's not too hard to find out where an email comes from.
We'll show you the digital clues investigators use to track down the suspect.
Those stories next week. In the meantime, head over to our website, cybercrime.com, for complete coverage of Operation Avalanche.
And as always, you can keep in touch with us via email. Our address is cybercrime@techtv.com.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.